everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today, as promised, I am going to be doing a still life oil painting in real time, and I'm only going to be using Cobra water mixable oil paints. So last episode, I reviewed their starter 10 color set of just Cobra water mixable oils. They're kind of the basic 10 color set that they offer. I swatched out a sample of each color, so in case you're interested in buying that set, you can see exactly what you're getting. I will use only those colors today to do a still life of blue glass bottle and some lemons. So in this episode, I'm going to focus on the background, which will take some time. And then in the next episode, I will get to the rest of the painting. So enjoy, and if you hit like, I would appreciate it. And if you also hit subscribe, you'll be able to see the next videos as they come out. If you guys have any other questions, please comment below. I'm always checking, and I love to hear from you guys. So thanks for watching and enjoy. So here we are. It's just a simple still life with a glass and some lemons. This is like a vase, empty. And then the background, I'm gonna just focus on the background for this video. That's probably enough for me to worry about. Backgrounds are, they're sometimes deceptively easy. They look easier than they are to actually do. Mine are going to be, my background will be like a dark purple, and then it will fade to kind of a grayish purple where the light kind of shines in the middle here. So we'll start with, you know, a lightish grayish purple, and then it will fade out to a darker purple as we go further out to the perimeter. So here's what the paint looks like all mixed up. It looks like a mess because it is. So I'll probably need more of this. So traditionally, a lot of oil painters like to do an underpainting where they use turpentines and really thin out their paints with, again, either turpentine or odorless mineral spirits, and then they kind of fill everything in with like an underpainting, just solid colors. They block in the things that they're going to be doing. I don't normally take that approach, but I am going to thin this paint out a little bit with water. And just kind of see how that looks, because that's one of the things about the Cobra water mixable oils are, you know, instead of using turpentines, you should be able to thin out the paints with water. So I'm going to give it a shot and see how this goes. Now I am going to start with the grayish purple, and so we will just do that. So this is about as far out into the perimeter as this kind of lavender grayish goes. And actually the reference photo I'm using, I'm changing it up quite a bit. I'm playing with the colors a lot because I want to. So it's very thin. It actually reminds me a little bit of the thinness of craft paint. If you've ever used like acrylic craft paint, it's kind of got that consistency when you add water. I may have added a little too much water, but I'm mixing around and I'm doing as well as I can here. I'm avoiding hitting the bottle. And so here we go. Guys, come on. Part of the reason I'm doing this outside is not for safety reasons. Water mixable oils are safe to use inside, as you don't use traditional solvents. However, I have to keep an eye on my kids, which is why I'm outside today. So you'll hear various fighting and screaming and yelling and taunting and all sorts of things that 3 little boys find to do. So that's actually the reason why I like oil painting. Is a lot of times during my day I have to attend to diaper changing and damage control, fighting. It's a very busy life with 3 little boys, so I can walk away from oil paintings and know that they're not going to dry. I can keep mixing and keep working it, you know, hours later. The paint's not going to dry on the palette, whereas acrylics, once you leave, things are dry and you can't really re-wet and rework. So that's why I've actually chosen oil painting to be a medium for me at this season of my life. So I'm just kind of doing some strokes here. And it's interesting because they're coming out really light and then they're kind of fading to dark. Now, one thing I don't like is this drip that happened. That's because of the very oily nature. I'm sorry, not oily nature. It's because of the watery nature of the paint. I added water. So now I'm going to clean off my brush and see if I can get that water up. Or not water up, this paint up. Because I don't like it. This doesn't work terribly. This is going to be a darker paint down here because it's on a wooden table. So I'm not going to worry about it. But I am going to get a little bit closer to this edge. And as you can see, as I lift up, like the color is a little lighter and then it kind of fades to darker. So that's interesting. So as I said, my landscape that I tried the other day didn't work out very well. I'm not really good at landscapes. I'd like to be, but I'm not there yet. But I've done a handful of still lifes and they've all come out pretty well. So I could switch brushes and get this bottle a little bit easier, but I'm lazy and I don't want to. So there we go. So here's kind of my light part of the picture. All right, I think that looks good. So now I'm going to get my darker paint and I'm going to add a little bit of water to thin it out, but I'm careful not to add too much water because I didn't like this drip. So I'm just going to and I've got to blend this a little bit. So I don't really like that stripe. So for this, I like a filbert. And I just kind of blend it in a little bit. And when I blend in, I just kind of make small, rounder strokes. That's all I'm doing. I just don't like any harsh lines. I want the transition between dark and light to be soft and natural, the way it appears in the picture. Although the picture, it's not purple, it's like grayish and blackish. So, you know, I'm not staying true to the reference photo at all. And so hopefully you guys can see that. It's a very bright day out, which is nice. It's actually about 100 degrees out right now, so we have been hanging out outside today and maybe going to the pool later. And we're just trying to keep cool. My dog at 2:30 in the morning got sprayed by a skunk last night, so it's been quite the adventure of a day. And I'm ready for the day to be over, truthfully. So I'm running out of this dark color paint, unfortunately. But it's okay. do what I can. And I'm gonna soften up again. So just soft little circular strokes here to blend in the colors. And you know, they don't have to be a perfect fade because the line is somewhat stark in the picture, in the reference photo. So, you know, I don't have to get perfect here, but I want to get good, if that makes sense. So I'm going to go in back with my lighter color here.
Mommy, you only kicked my ear.
Jordan, leave him alone. You okay, buddy? Guys, not too careful, Damon, okay? Damon, you didn't eat your lunch. You didn't want your lunch, and you said you weren't going to eat again for the rest of the day, buddy. So that's what you're doing. Okay, so we're getting to the real outer edge here, and as I said, I'm losing steam with my paint, which is fine. I don't mind. I don't really want to have to remix because, you know, it's hard enough to get the color the first time that you like. I should have mixed more. I always feel like I'll be wasteful if I over mix or mix too much, but then I end up in this situation where, you know, I don't have enough. And you don't want to be in that situation. So you got to figure out how to strike a balance, and I'm still learning that. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to mix a little bit of red. Oops, that's maybe too much. A little bit of blue. So all I used for this was red, blue, and black. And for this lighter part, I threw some white in there. But now I'm going to go heavier on the black and make this very dark. So let's see how this goes. It's going. It's definitely going. Let's see. Ooh. Okay, I don't know how much I like that. Okay, well this got dark very quickly, so that's okay. No problem. That's the good thing about, you know, veering off from the reference photo. You know, I have no script. I can just kind of do my own thing. Nobody knows the reference photo. And, you know, you don't want to, unless it's a realism picture or you're doing a pet portrait or something, or a human portrait, it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be perfectly representative. Oh, I don't know where my words are. You know where they are? They were busy at 3 a.m. scrubbing a dog from the skunk smell. It was just, my brain can't even function today. I felt like I needed to do art to clear my mind. What do you want, buddy? Mommy's busy. You rode off your bike and then what? Did you fall? All right, I'm sorry you got butt hurt, buddy. All right, so we are finishing up. As you can see, I've gotten very dark in the corners, which is the point here. And these are behaving very similar to the traditional oil paints that I use. And so I tend to go with Rembrandt. Rembrandt is the company of oil paints that I really like, and that's actually the same company, Royal Talons, that makes this water mixable set. So again, this is just Cobra mixable, water mixable paints, and I used a water, just water from the tap, in order to kind of thin this paint out. And I gotta say, it's coming out pretty good. I'm not, you know, I'm not hating what's going on here. It does feel a lot like traditional oil paints, and hopefully it will dry pretty quick. I have heard that these do dry in a more manageable time period than some other traditional oils. Sometimes I leave my oil paints to dry and like weeks later they're still not dry. And that's the part I don't like. But Cobra does make a medium that you can use to speed up drying time. I have not used it. I actually didn't buy it, but if I continue using these and loving them, I will absolutely buy them. So here we go. This is a good base. Now I'm feeling really like this is a little too stark of a difference between the dark purple and the light purple. So I'm gonna just kind of go in and do some upward strokes to really mix that a little bit better. But I do want this kind of glaring, shiny halo effect here. So this is working out really nicely. So there we go. So other than this little drip here, which I don't love, but it will all go away once I do the wood, I'm very happy with it. So this is my first successful use of water mixable oil paints, and really they're water cleanable oil paints because I am not using any odorless mineral spirits. This is just water. And you know, it's so nice to know that I don't have to clean my brush in the unnecessary amount of time sometimes I feel like cleaning your brush takes with traditional oil paints. So I just cleaned this off with water, and then I rubbed it on a paper towel, and I feel like I can use it again later for, you know, the wood part of the piece, but I feel really good about that. And I am gonna call this a video and a wrap. And then part 2 of this will be, we gotta kind of go in order. So I will be doing the wood, and then the bottle, and then the lemons. And so we'll see how that all goes. So thank you so much for watching this, and stay tuned for my next video where I do the rest of it. I guess I could do it now. No one's bothering me. Yes. I'm going to do the next part of this. I'm going to do this dark part down here, which is a very dark grayish brown. Kind of a sepia, I would say. And I'm not going to get too detailed in the wood. I just want to make it look wooden, if you will. So I'm going to use a good amount of the brown color that I have, which is burnt sienna, and a good deal of black. And I'm going to mix this up to make like a sienna, or not a sienna, like a sepia, or a burnt umber even. I made more of a sepia color because I think it's maybe a little warmer and darker. Either way, I'm happy with how that just came out. And there'll be some lighter parts to this, which I will do in yellow ochre. But not too much yellow ochre because I don't want it to be too... The yellow ochre is important because it's going to be a reflection of these lemons kind of on the table, on the wood, so it does kind of look a little bit more on the ochre side. Okay, either way, I am going to do, what am I going to do? Oh, what am I going to do here? All right, I'm going to go with a little bit of a lighter color for this side. Oh my goodness. Ah, my paints just flew away. Okay. It can be really hard to do anything outside because of the wind. And I feel like I just made this a little too light. Let's see how this is all going to go down, because heck if I know, really. All right. So there's a reflection here of the lemon. So this can just be the wood. So I'm going in with this smaller brush. And if you notice, it's going right over this purple drip, which is what I wanted. And in the original color, or in the original picture, this is more of a stone color. Perhaps these lemons are on like a granite type of situation, but that's not how it worked out for me, and that's okay. Doesn't have to be perfect or exactly alike, although I do, in hindsight, wish I had made this gray instead of brown. So we're gonna change it. I'm gonna add some black. I'm gonna add some white and make a gray, and then see how we can alter this. That's the good thing about oil painting, is you can make amendments pretty quickly. And just go right over mistakes and colors you don't like. And I'm going to try to get a nice sharp line here. So I'm going to do this whole area, this kind of new grayish color I just concocted. And I'm going to go back to this brush here and just kind of get more of a sharp line. It's awfully quiet. I don't know where my kids went. We have a big property here, and 3 little boys can find more things to do here. Okay, so there we go. So that's all well and good. However, I am taking a little bit of the purple, and I'm just kind of making like a darkish reflection here. It's not really working out for me, but the intention was good. Okay. All right. All right, so I don't want to mess with this too much because this has got to be more on the yellow side. So I am gonna go to this side here, and now what I'm doing now is there's kind of a shadow here. So that's why this is very dark here. Okay, and then the back can be a little bit on the lighter side, but not too light. That might be too light. You switch brushes. And again, now I didn't use any water here to thin it out because I want to see the difference in drying times. So the purple background that I did, I'm assuming will have a quicker drying time because it's been thinned out with water, and water will evaporate quicker than the oil in the oil paint. This is my guess. It's a little bit of an educated guess, but a guess nonetheless. So we'll see how it actually turns out. But okay, so this looks pretty good. And then I'm gonna go back and okay, so I'm loving what happens down here. Now this is going to be, you know, yellow of the lemon reflection. So I'm just gonna use a little ochre, yellow ochre, in this brown that I've already concocted. And just to add some interest, you know, I'm trying to be, I'm trying to make this look real. It won't be realistic, but I do want it to look like, you know, something impressionistic, but something that could exist, okay? So even when you're doing something on the impressionistic side, you still want to get shadows right, and you want to get color transitions down and be true to reflections, that sort of thing. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you know, you do want it to look somewhat real. So getting the colors right and the values can be pretty important. All right, so I'm feeling pretty good about what I got going on here. Now you want to make sure that you get as close as you can to these lines, because when I go in with the yellows of the lemon, I'll just put it slightly over this, the grays and the yellow here, okay? So basically when you want to do things in the background first. Like I did the background first and then I did the table, so that when I go and do the lemon will appear to sit right on top of this wooden table. Whereas if you accidentally do the lemons first, you know, it just might not end up looking perfectly great. But that's fine. We're all learning. I'm learning every day. Oil painting is pretty new to me, but I'm enjoying doing it, and it seems like you guys really enjoy these videos, so I'm leaning more heavily into the oil painting for that reason. So I'm learning more. And I'm gonna just go in with some darker, blend this in a little bit. Now this part is very dark. Why is it very dark? Well, because it's the shadows of these lemons just kind of making this middle very dark shadow. So we want to get that dark. And as far as blending it into the yellow, it doesn't necessarily need to be, you know, a stark line. So I'm going to wipe off my brush a little bit. You know, I'm going to just use my water, brush all the paint off. So it has no paint on it. I'm going to wipe it off on my paper towel, and then I'm just going to brush over this line in order to blend them a little bit more seamlessly. Okay? And now it's not as stark of a line. And I can go back in with some of my ochre, yellow ochre, and do that sort of thing. Okay, that looks a little bit better. It's all looking pretty good. No complaints yet. I'm gonna just go back in here. And I'm gonna just kind of blend this out a little bit. And this is actually more of a, there's more of a starker line here. So I'm just gonna blend with my filbert brush a little bit. And so I've got a little bit of starkness, but nothing too crazy. Now I'm gonna just go in a little bit more with my yellow. And there we go. Not sure I'm crazy about how that's happening. I'm gonna... All right, done. I'm gonna leave that alone because if I don't, it will drive me crazy. And this still needs to be a little bit more in a shadow here. I'm gonna just go in with the black here. I might have to wait until that dries in order to get a a significant difference in value, just because it's kind of just mixing with the lighter gray underneath, but that's okay. All right, so on this side, again, this looks pretty good. And I like how this kind of blended out. And I'm gonna just do a little bit more of darkness here. Because this lemon does create a bit of a shadow here. So I wanna make sure my brush is kissing that lemon so that when I go and make the lemon, it will sit on top of the shadow and actually look like it's creating the shadow, if that makes sense. You need to be careful about the order in which you paint things. All right, so that looks pretty good. I'm happy with that for now. So we've done the background, which is a dark, deep royal purple with a highlight where the light is in a lavender, you know, all made with just the Cobra water mixable set of 10. I didn't purchase any extra things. And the purple is thinned out with water, so I'll be interested in seeing if that is going to dry quicker than this, which is just the oil paint, nothing else added. I just realized I forgot that little bit. And you know what's actually really funny is, in reality of the picture, the lemon comes over, and so this doesn't actually exist. So what I'm going to do to stay true to that is I'm gonna not add any paint here, and when I go and make my lemon, I'll just make sure it kind of crests that way over this little gap. Okay, so that's it for this episode. I will let you know on the drying times, and we will reconvene with part 2 next week. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little tutorial of the Cobra water mixable oil paint set of 10. And let me know if you guys have any questions or comments. And if you subscribe to my channel, hit subscribe, you'll see exactly when my next video comes out. And so you'll be able to paint along as well if that's what you're doing, or you can sit here and just binge watch because I'm such an amazing artist. Just kidding. All right, so hope you enjoyed. And one thing I'm going to do, because I can't help myself, is I'm just gonna go over one more time to make sure I got a nice stark background line or foreground or horizon line, whatever you want to call that. Okay, that looks good. I'm gonna stop because you can absolutely overwork something and make it terrible. All right, so thank you for watching. Again, hit subscribe, hit like, enjoy, watch my videos, and if you have any questions, please ask. I love to answer questions, and enjoy. Happy painting. Thank you.